All right, welcome back. Made it home after a wild week at the Kings Royal. Started things off, obviously, with 2 nights with High Limit Racing and then finished it off with the Outlaw portion of the Kings Royal week. And wow, what a race. Does it really get much better than what we saw over the last 4 days? The one prelim night when it was High Limit's turn with Schuhart and Schatz and all those guys, that was a great race. But for it to come down to Saturday night, 40 laps, Kings Royal on the line, $175,000. You have all the different leaders that we had. You had all the drama that came into play. You had, quite possibly, in my opinion, the best sprint car driver of all time coming from the back, trying to get up there and take his seventh ever Kings Royal. He's fighting with a guy who's trying to complete the Triple Crown. There was just so many storylines that went into this race, and I was there, man. It was absolutely electric, especially in the middle of the feature when Donnie's coming forward and he takes the lead. Where I was sitting at in turn two, or what are they, turn two, it was just pandemonium, dude. It was incredible. I just think right now that sprint car racing is the best it's ever been. Obviously, I would have liked to seen the high limit guys do a little bit better, but kind of going in, I felt like the Outlaws did have a little advantage. They raced there earlier this year at Eldora. They ran 2 races. High limit hasn't ran too many half miles this year. They don't get to go to Eldora nearly as much, or at least before the Kings Royal. And I kind of thought that the Outlaws had the upper hand, but I did want to say this. Look at who ran third. I said I wish I had some editing technique here where I can just kind of go back and play what I said back at the preview video, saying that I had a good feeling about Justin Peck, and boy was he fast all week. I think only one finish outside the top five on one of the nights there for the 4 days, and then he ends up going 15th to third in the Kings Royal finale. So Justin Peck, great job to him, and a great job to Jacob Allen as well with a top five run. I thought he was going to take the win there for a hot minute in the middle of that race. So let's look at the lap by lap here, and then we'll go through the finishing results. If you're looking at the board and zooming in on your phone, the red numbers here, those are where they actually started the race. The black numbers is where they finished the race, all right? So lap one, they go into turn one. Everybody's, getting ready to go. Here's the start of the race, and then Parker Price Miller goes into the corner. He was supposed to start third, starts hopping, starts skipping, starts jumping. Looked like he's playing hopscotch out there. And the bottom of the track in turn 1 and 2 was rough all weekend. And I think at the speed that he was going into the corner, obviously was not up to full song by the time they got down there. That car just got into the wrong place at the wrong time at the wrong speed, and he takes a pretty nasty tumble. Luckily, he was all right. I saw him post on Twitter today that he was good, but he flips and started the race off a little bit slow. Gravel on that restart, or on that first initial start, though, he would get out front of Tyler Courtney, but obviously it would be called back due to the red flag. So then on the restart, Sunshine actually jumps out front, gets a good start on the outside, and would lead the first handful of laps of this race. But things did not go well for him by the time the finish came around. On lap one, the running order is Courtney, Gravel, Hodenshield, Schuhart, and Abreu, the top five. Speaking of Abreu, things did not go his way either in this race. Lap number 4, Logan Schuhart makes his way by Sheldon Hodenshield for the third position, and we knew going into this race that, in my opinion, the 3 guys that were going to be the ones to beat, or maybe 4, I had Gravel, Schuhart, Schatz, and then Rico I thought was going to be up there battling for this win, and Schuhart quickly was showing that he was a guy that was going to contend for a Kings Royal title. Lap 7, Gravel throws a short slider on Tyler Courtney to take the lead into turn 3, and Courtney, it would happen a little bit later, almost a lap later, that he was unable to make any sort of crossover move happen when he got slid at all tonight. So Gravel would take the lead, and then the very next lap, Schuhart would throw a really deep slider, a late slider, get up to the cushion, and was somehow, I wrote it there. I mean, that car just had a ton of forward bite off the corner. He threw a slider that, Courtney should have cleared, or, should have crossed under him easily, but could not make it happen. Schuhart drives away and would move into the second position. Lap 15, Donnie Schatz, after starting in 20th, is already to 9th, and Jacob Allen has moved into the 4th position. Lap 16, Schuhart takes the lead off of turn number 4, getting by David Gravel. Gravel really never left the top of the racetrack for, I would say, 96% of the race. He was on the top of the racetrack. He would go down low if he had to get by a lap car or try and block Donnie in the late stages of this one. And then on lap 17, a yellow flag comes out for Anthony Macri. He has a flat left rear tire, and that would open up the open red flag condition. And so that would be the second yellow of the race, and I believe those are the only 2 cautions. One was on the first lap for the red flag, and then lap 17 for Macri. Only 2 stoppages in this race. Lap 17 restart. Jacob Allen gets a good start around the outside. He restarted fourth and got on the gas really good and was able to clear Sheldon Haudenschild, get into the third spot, and get right back to his happy place right on the inside of the racetrack. And when he did that, I leaned over the person sitting next to me. I said, it's going to be King Jacob tonight. His car looked so good early in this race on the very inside of the racetrack, but he would kind of stall out in that third spot and never get higher than that. And then also at the same time as that, Gravel gets back around Schuchart on the outside of turn 2. As Jacob, makes the move around Sheldon, gets in front of him, Gravel goes to the top, rips the cushion, gets around Schuchart, takes the lead right back away. And Donnie Schatz makes his way into 5th. Lap 19, Schatz is now up to 4th. So before halfway, 19 laps, Donnie Schatz is from 20th up to 4th. And then on lap 20, he's up to 3rd. And then midway through lap 20, he's up to 2nd. So halfway through this race, Donnie Schatz is from 20th up to 2nd and catching up to David Gravel. Now, I said this on the high limit portion of the broadcast. Eldora is one of the very, very few handful of racetracks. There has to be maybe 3 or 4 in the entire country where you can start anywhere in the race. You could start 20th, 24th, 15th, 11th. It doesn't matter. You can start anywhere in the field and have a chance to win. And that is exactly what we saw here tonight at the Kings Royal. Schatz got up to 2nd. Lap 25, Justin Peck is already up to 5th, and there's traffic for David Gravel on lap number 25 with 15 to go. The running order on lap 26 is Gravel, Schatz, Schuchart, Allen, and then Peck, the top 5. Haudenschild, Kofoid, Marks, Axum, Wise. Emerson Axum finished 6th in this race. 6th. At the Kings Royal, he finished in the 6th position in his first year as a full-time 410 sprint car driver. That is absolutely astounding. He finished in 6th after starting 13th, and he looked like he belonged, man. That car was unbelievable on Saturday night. He really wasn't a factor at any other portion of the week until it really came down to the big money and the Kings Royal. Emerson Axum is just absolutely unbelievable right now. Lap 27, Gravel is up top. Schatz is down low. So, typical Schatz. He's just running his line. Sometimes he can make the middle work, but most of the time he's on the bottom. Really never sniffed the top there. The last half of this race was just kind of sticking to his guns, doing what he knows how to do. And Gravel is just driving it for all it's worth. And he has a moment late in this race that almost cost him the Kings Royal and even almost cost him his whole car, honestly. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Lap 32, Donnie Schatz makes the move by David Gravel on the bottom, on the back straightaway to take the race lead from 20th. And at this point in time, it is absolutely electric around Eldora Speedway. People are up, and I'm out of my seat, man. I'm cheering. I want to see Donnie get his 7th Kings Royal, but at the same time, you got to remember the storyline of Gravel never winning it. He's been so close. He's looking for the Triple Crown. The storylines were plentiful in this race, and the race fans were going bananas in the stands, or at least where I was sitting at, dude. It was crazy over there. So Schatz takes the lead. Lap 34, they're in the middle of traffic. Seesaw battle. Schatz is on the bottom, has to make the middle work to get by lap cars, and Gravel's doing his thing on the top. These guys, one moment, Schatz looks like he's going to win this race and pull away. Gravel catches back up to him, just back and forth, back and forth. On lap 34 as well, Justin Peck is now up to 4th, and Axum is up into the 6th position. Lap 35, Schatz gets held up by a lapper coming off turn 4, and David Gravel shoots around him on the outside down the front straightaway to retake the lead on the 34th lap. On lap 37, then Gravel comes off turn number 4, and if you watch the Dirt Vision highlights, you cannot see it, I don't think. But I saw it from turn 2. Gravel absolutely clobbers the wall coming off turn 4. Somehow, I didn't hear the interview at the end, but I don't know if he knocked the ladder out or anything, but I don't know how that car didn't blow a tire, break a shock or anything on the right rear portion. He smoked the wall and was still able to, make his car go around the racetrack. As he does that, though, going back into turn 1, loses a ton of momentum. Schatz is right there. They're side by side going into turn 1 with 3 laps to go. Peck then makes his way into the 3rd position behind them. Lap 38, these guys are still side by side for the race lead at the 2nd biggest race of the entire season, the Kings Royal. It is coming down to the wire. Schatz and Gravel just like this going around the entire racetrack. And here's the other thing. I wrote it down there at the bottom of this little column. Donnie Schatz never threw a slider. I'm yelling from the grandstands at Donnie Schatz to throw a slider at David Gravel. He just won't do it, right? And that's just how he is. He's just a very respectful driver on the racetrack, right? Donnie Schatz is not a guy that's going to throw a short slider at anybody. Even if they did it to him the lap before, he is going to run them as clean and as hard as he possibly can. There's a part of you that can respect that, right? You're like, man, I mean, this guy is an old school racer and he's going to do it by the book. He's not going to do it. He's not going to dirty anybody up or anything like that. But the other part of you wants him to not be as nice, right? And slide in front of David Gravel and break his momentum and all that good stuff, right? But he just never did, man. He just stuck to the bottom like he's always done his entire career and played it safe and tried to make it a good race without having all the craziness of slide jobs that we see here in this day and age of sprint car racing. And man, it was just a work of art from Schatz. I honestly, man, I was really hoping he was going to pull it off. But then on lap 39, Gravel was able to slide in front of Skylar G coming off the fourth corner to put him a lap down. And at the same time, it kind of killed G's momentum off four. And he was on the bottom a little bit there, and Schatz got held up behind him. And that was it. Gravel won by 0.937, so just under a second at the line. David Gravel would win his first Kings Royal, the 41st Royal, and he would complete the Triple Crown, the National Open, the Knoxville Nationals, and the Kings Royal for David Gravel. The lap leaders in this race are crazy. Sunshine, Tyler Courtney led laps 1 through 6. Gravel led laps 7 through 15. Schuhart 16 and 17. Gravel 18 to 31. Schatz 32 and 33. And then Gravel would lead 34 to 40. You cannot ask for much better than what we saw here tonight at Eldora Speedway. The track all week was just, I mean, it was absolutely perfect. I really wish this was the track that we had last year at the Eldora Million when there was so many eyes on the sport. But, I mean, the Kings Royal is just the next best thing, right? I mean, great job by Rob Platfoot, everybody at the racetrack, man. It was so good all week long. So here's your finishing order. David Gravel with the win. Donnie Schatz, hard charger from 20th up to 2nd. Justin Peck, 15th to 3rd. Logan Schuhart and Jacob Allen keep Shark Racing inside the top 5 for both cars. Emerson Axum, I cannot say enough good things about this kid. I mean, we'll see what he does at the Knoxville Nationals, right? But if he can get in the Nationals feature, I see no reason why this team would not be a full-time member of some kind of series next year, right? He is just way too good already to be not running a national tour. So we'll see what they do next year, but I really like what I see out of that car. Sheldon Hodenshield was 7th. Zeb-wise, a very, very much-needed run there for those guys, a good run, 14th to 8th. And there, like I said, there was only 2 yellows, so it wasn't like there was a bunch of guys wrecking out or anything. Like, I mean, he was passing cars. Brett Marks, 12th to 9th. Buddy Kofoid finishes up in the 10th position. Tyler Courtney led 6 laps, but would end up in 11th. Spencer Baston, 12th. Anthony Macri, 13th. James McFadden would run 14th. Hunter Schoenberg, great to see him get into the show with the Mike McGee number 11 car. Hope to see that car make it out on the racetrack a lot more here in the near future, because clearly it is a car that can contend at the Kings Royal. Made the show, and they definitely should be out on the road somewhere. Skylar G finishes up in the 16th position. Cool to see him make the Kings Royal feature. Brady Bacon, 17th. Rico Abreu may have been the biggest disappointment in this race. I think a lot of people had Abreu as the guy that was going to contend with Gravel for the win. Goes a lap down in this race and finishes in 18th. Brian Brown, 19th. Good job by the Landons, Landon Crawley and Landon Brooks. Landon Brooks, by the way, in his 28th career 410 sprint car start, made the Kings Royal, holding off Brad Sweet and holding off somebody else, that maybe Larson or something, I think, in the heat race, to run in the 21st position in the feature and make it straight through the heat race. Also a great job by Landon Crawley to run in 20th and make the show for Jason Sides, as he was the Royal Sovereign. Also, Cole Macedo makes the show. Good job by him. Cy Lynch, 23rd, and Parker Price Miller, after that issue in the first lap, would end up in 24th. So let me know what you guys thought of the Kings Royal. Was it everything that you thought it would be and more? Because for me, it was. It lived up to the hype. The crowd was absolutely going crazy. There was a million people there. It was so much fun to watch and just be as a spectator and take it, and take it all in and watch it go down. So great job by everybody involved over at Eldora. It was a whole lot of fun, and already looking forward to next year. Obviously, Knoxville Nationals, the next crown jewel on the schedule, and looking forward to that, because you could feel the rivalry, I feel like, a little bit kind of brewing between High Limit and the Outlaws. Obviously, the Outlaws take this one for sure. I mean, it wasn't even really close. Peck was 3rd, but he was way behind the top 2. So congrats to Gravel. Completes the Triple Crown. A historical night for him, and very cool to see that and be there to witness it. So thank you guys for watching. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below what did you guys think about the Kings Royal, and we'll talk to you again here later on. We've got the preview video coming out for High Limit at Lernerville on Tuesday night, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.